Hey, History Hunts! Welcome back to the History Hunt. Today we're diving into a historical rabbit hole so deep, so unbelievable, it sounds like something straight out of a spy thriller. We're talking about War Plan Red, a top-secret, officially sanctioned military strategy where the United States of America meticulously planned to wage war against its friendly northern neighbor, Canada. Yes, you heard that right. For years, while you and I were going about our lives, high-ranking officials in the US government were drawing up blueprints for a full-scale invasion. Forget conspiracy theories. This was cold, hard reality. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This has to be some crazy internet rumor, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. War Plan Red wasn't some fringe idea cooked up in a basement. This was a genuine official military plan approved by the US War Department way back in 1930. Think about that for a second. The Roaring Twenties had just ended, the world was on the cusp of massive change, and behind closed doors, the American military was strategizing how to invade Canada. This wasn't just some theoretical exercise either. We're talking about detailed strategies involving actual troop movement, naval assaults, and even plans for the occupation of Canadian territories. This wasn't a game. This was a serious, government-backed contingency plan. Brace yourselves because this next part is truly jaw-dropping. War Plan Red explicitly included the aerial bombing and destruction of major Canadian cities, including the vibrant metropolis of Montreal and the crucial port city of Halifax. Imagine that, American planes not on a friendly flyover, but tasked with unleashing devastation on Canadian soil. The primary objective behind targeting Halifax was to cripple Britain's ability to reinforce its North American territories. By taking out this vital port, the US aimed to cut off Canada from its overseas support. And Montreal? It was on the invasion list to disrupt communications and cripple the Canadian infrastructure. These weren't just vague ideas. These were specific targets in a meticulously crafted plan of aggression. The ambition of War Plan Red didn't stop at just bombing cities. The US military strategists envisioned a swift and decisive ground invasion. One of their key strategies was to launch an attack through the Great Lakes region and New York, aiming to cleave Canada in two right at Ottawa, the nation's capital. The logic was brutal but effective. By splitting the country, they would render it virtually impossible for British reinforcements to reach either coast. It's a classic divide and conquer strategy, straight out of the ancient military playbook, but applied to a 20th century scenario involving two nations that today share the longest undefended border in the world. To facilitate this ambitious invasion, the US military planned to establish a network of secret supply depots and airfields strategically located near the Canadian border. Think about clandestine operations, hidden under the guise of normalcy, all in preparation for a potential full-scale offensive. While concrete proof is scarce due to the plan's highly classified nature, some historical evidence suggests potential preparations in areas like New England, Michigan, and even upstate New York. Imagine the level of secrecy and coordination required to pull something like that off right under Canada's nose. It paints a picture of a deeply distrustful and potentially volatile relationship, at least from the American perspective at that time. Now here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Canada wasn't entirely oblivious to these potential threats. In response to the looming possibility of American aggression, the Canadian military developed its own secret plan, Defense Scheme Number 1. And their strategy? It was audacious, almost unbelievable. Instead of hunkering down to defend against a superior force, the Canadians planned to launch a preemptive invasion of the northern United States. Their objective wasn't to conquer, but to create chaos, burn key infrastructure, and then strategically retreat before being captured. The goal? To buy precious time for British reinforcements to arrive. It's like a wild reverse Uno card played on the international stage, a surprising and daring response to a perceived existential threat. This next point delves into a truly unsettling aspect of War Plan Red. Classified documents suggest that the US military explored the potential use of non-conventional warfare tactics, including the deployment of chemical weapons, specifically gas warfare. Remember, this was just a little over a decade after the horrors of World War I, where poison gas had been used with devastating effect. The fact that American military planners were even considering such tactics against their northern neighbor sends a chilling reminder of the brutal realities of strategic thinking during that era. It highlights a level of desperation and a willingness to consider morally reprehensible options in the pursuit of military objectives. Perhaps one of the most astonishing aspects of War Plan Red is how long it remains shrouded in secrecy. This detailed plan to invade a friendly nation was kept under lock and key for over half a century. It wasn't until the 1970s that these documents were finally declassified, meaning generations of Americans, and Canadians for that matter, had absolutely no idea that their country had once seriously contemplated going to war with their peaceful northern neighbor. Think about the implications of this. For decades, a potentially explosive piece of history was deliberately concealed, shaping the narrative of U.S.-Canada relations without the full context of this hidden plan. It's crucial to understand that War Plan Red wasn't solely about Canada. In the geopolitical landscape of the early 20th century, the United States still viewed the vast and powerful British Empire as a potential rival and a threat to its own growing global dominance. The U.S. military planners assumed that if war were to break out with Britain, Canada, as a significant British dominion, would inevitably become a major front. Therefore, War Plan Red was, in essence, a key component of a larger anti-British global strategy. It wasn't just a Canada thing, it was a significant piece in a much larger puzzle of international power dynamics. Interestingly, internal U.S. military assessments at the time openly acknowledged that the American Navy was inferior to the might of the British Royal Navy. This perceived weakness played a significant role in shaping the strategy of War Plan Red. The American planners understood that they couldn't rely on naval superiority to secure a victory in Canada. Therefore, their strategy emphasized a swift and decisive land-based invasion, aiming to quickly capture key Canadian territories before the powerful British Navy could arrive in force and turn the tide. It was a race against time, a gamble on speed and overwhelming ground power. Ultimately, the driving force behind the creation of War Plan Red was a deep-seated suspicion and fear of British imperialism. Even after the end of World War I, the United States continued to view Britain's vast colonial holdings and global influence as a potential obstacle to its own ambitions on the world stage. War Plan Red serves as a stark reminder of a time when America didn't even fully trust its current allies. It reflects a period of intense geopolitical maneuvering and a willingness to prepare for even the most unlikely and undesirable scenarios, just in case the delicate balance of power were to shift dramatically. So there you have it. War Plan Red, a real, official, and incredibly shocking chapter in the history of North America. It's a stark reminder that even between seemingly friendly nations, underlying tensions and strategic calculations can lead to the unthinkable. This isn't just a dusty old document, it's a window into a past where the relationship between the United States and Canada could have taken a dramatically different and far more hostile turn. It makes you wonder about the other secret plans and hidden histories that might still be waiting to be uncovered. What do you think about War Plan Red? Were you as shocked as I was? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the History Hunt for more incredible historical deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next hunt.